I am Alex, 32, a cybersecurity architect. My professional world is a fortress built on logic, predictable outcomes, and system integrity. I'm the one who closes the breaches others leave open. But for my family, I was merely the perpetually activated firewall, the relentless problem solver, the always-on financial failsafe, and the 24/7 unpaid tech support. I am the rock, the responsible one who put himself through college and built his career with zero handouts. The core issue. A firewall is a utility, a functional component, not a person to be cherished. My younger brother, Leo, 28, is the artist. Impulsive, ridiculously charismatic, and a financial black hole. My parents don't just love him, they adore his chaos. His chronic irresponsibility is consistently reframed as the endearing trait of a free spirit. While I was quietly bailing them out of the recurring cycle of debt and meticulously setting up Dad's entire business infrastructure, including the encrypted payment systems and disaster recovery protocols, I was always on the periphery, never at the head table, where the laughter and genuine warmth resided. Every family gathering was a psychological gauntlet. I absorbed every casual jab: "Alex, you're so serious, relax for once," or "leave the spreadsheets alone, Alex." Internalizing the cruel bargain, I kept providing invaluable service, hoping that one day, the sheer scale of my utility would earn me the status of family, not just a solution provider. I was playing a game with impossible rules. I had spent years performing this quiet calculation. Every bill paid, every midnight system crash fixed, every silent contribution was a chip placed on a single, precious square: acceptance. I craved to be seen for my success and stability, not just for what I could provide. The rules were demonstrably unfair, yet I kept playing, paralyzed by the fear of what would happen if the firewall ever powered down. The fear was simple, primal: if I stop being useful, I become nothing to them. I disappear. Last spring, this unsustainable illusion, this self-inflicted psychic vulnerability, was finally pushed to its breaking point. Leo was launching his pop-up studio event, an ambitious, expensive gamble meant to cement his reputation. My mom's call came 2 weeks prior, a symphony of sweet, manipulative urgency: "Alex, sweetie, we need you to guarantee the VIP room reservation at the Grand Metropolitan. It's a $2,500 non-refundable deposit. You know we'll pay you back, eventually." The subtext was a clear demand: "Your access token costs $2,500. I knew I wouldn't see the money again. I transferred it anyway, purchasing my entry ticket to what I desperately hoped would be a shared, respected family moment. I even went the extra mile. I spent 3 days coordinating the rental and setup of specialized gallery lighting because Leo forgot, and the venue's lighting was unsuitable for his art. I arrived exactly on time, dressed in a custom-tailored charcoal suit, my professional armor, and carrying a rare, expensive bottle of Macallan 18-year-old whiskey, a gift meant to convey respect and celebration, not utility. The bottle alone was a statement of success. Leo greeted me at the entrance, his signature smug, dismissive grin firmly in place. He barely made eye contact and waved a dismissive hand at the whiskey. "Just set it over there," he drawled. Then, he performed the first, unforgivable public slight. He gestured toward a dark, chaotic corner near the service door and the fire exit. "Sorry, Alex," he said, loud enough for the flanking groups of investors and Clara's family to hear. "This area is strictly for strategic partners and direct family. High-value investors, you know. But there's a spot for you right there, the tech area. If the projector acts up, we'll need you." My heart didn't just sink, it froze. That spot was a deliberately humiliating tableau: a worn, red plastic stool perched precariously on top of an electrical cable crate, adjacent to a mountain of empty cardboard boxes and a discarded cleaning cart. I saw my parents and Clara's sophisticated family watching. They didn't intervene, some barely suppressing their smirks of superiority. The public nature of the dismissal was the real, devastating blow. I felt the instantaneous, visceral regression to that 10-year-old kid told to step out of the family photo because I ruined the artistic composition. I sat down alone, the expensive whiskey bottle mocking me by my feet, my expensive suit feeling like a ludicrous costume. For 2 excruciating hours, I was utterly invisible, a glorified piece of furniture, the security console that no one was allowed to touch, but everyone assumed was running. The event wound down. I hadn't moved. I hadn't eaten a single canopy. I was running a final, cold system diagnostic on my own loyalty. Was this it? Was this the absolute maximum value I held for them? A glorified cable management guy? The answer was a definitive yes. Then, the executioner arrived. The event manager, a smooth, professional man, walked straight past a laughing Leo and my parents at the head table and approached me. $6,750 total, Mr. R, he said quietly, holding the black leather folio. Should I run the same card as the deposit? Leo, across the room, didn't even turn around. He called out casually, his voice echoing in the emptying room, "Alex has got it. He's on the account." It was a final, confident assumption of my limitless service. A strange, absolute calm washed over me, the eerie tranquility of a system failure where the only remaining protocol is a hard reset. I looked at the waiter and offered a smile, a calm, slow, perfectly measured smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Not my table," I said clearly, my voice even but cutting through the low hum of post-event chatter like a sharp blade. I was explicitly told this area was strictly for strategic partners and direct family. I am neither. An instantaneous, stunned silence fell over the main table. Leo's face, usually animated by superficial confidence, went slack with initial shock, which quickly curdled into furious, petulant entitlement. "Sir, you are the one who made the reservation," the waiter stammered, utterly bewildered by the theatrical standoff. "I did," I confirmed, my gaze locked on Leo, treating him like an unsecured network connection. "And I paid the non-refundable $2,500 deposit. I also provided the essential lighting. But I have spent the entire night over here, at the side table, next to the fire exit and the garbage. I didn't eat their food. I wasn't welcome at their company. So, I will not be paying their balance." My dad, usually the passive observer, finally sputtered, "Alex, come on. Don't be petty. You've already paid for almost half the check with the deposit. You might as well just finish it." That single, casual, insulting phrase, "you might as well just finish it," snapped the final thread of my decades-long restraint. I stood up, adrenaline surging like a massive power spike. I felt the years of suppressed anger surge up, not as chaotic emotion, but as a surgical, directed force. I paid the $2,500 deposit without blinking. I sourced, secured, and ordered the custom spotlighting for this whole damn room. And what did I get? A plastic stool on a cable crate and a sign that said, "Direct family only." I shouted the last part, my voice clear and loud, echoing off the high ceilings. I stared Leo down, not as a brother, but as a rejected, scorned client. "You wanted to draw a boundary? Fine. The line is drawn. You get to figure out the $4,250 balance right now. You and your direct family." Leo, recovering, tried to execute his classic deflection. He spun it as a joke and accused me of being dramatic and overly sensitive. "No," I replied, grabbing my coat and the unopened bottle of whiskey. "I'm not sensitive. I'm an architect. I'm drawing a line of value. You calculated my value to be the price of a cheap plastic stool and a $2,500 insurance policy. Your value assessment of me is $0. I turned on my heel and walked out through the fire exit, leaving them trapped by the immediate, non-negotiable debt and the very public spectacle of their cruelty. The immediate, catastrophic reckoning. The torrent of texts, calls, and emails was immediate and ugly, a distributed denial-of-service attack on my peace. "Mom, you embarrassed us in front of Clara's father. He's our biggest potential investor. Was this your goal? Revenge? Leo, Alex, you soulless, cold-blooded sociopath. Fix this now. My entire career is on the line. You destroyed me." The crucial call came from Clara. She was genuinely shaken. She revealed that Leo and my parents had told Mr. Whitaker, her fiercely ethical father, that I had volunteered to pay the entire bill as a generous donation to Leo's art. Mr. Whitaker was already furious, not just about the money, but about the principle of the lie and the public shaming he had witnessed. If this is how they treat their own blood, using and dismissing him in public, Clara quoted her father with an edge of absolute finality, what happens when she marries into it? The shame was now irreversible and systemic. The dominoes began their fall. Clara publicly paused the studio launch plans. My old Aunt Julia, the quiet, wise matriarch of the extended family, called me an hour later. "Good," she said, the single word loaded with 40 years of family observation. "It was about time someone shook the tree. They've leaned on you so hard the trunk was splitting. You saved yourself." I took the final, decisive financial action. I logged into the joint emergency account Leo was still dipping into, the one I funded monthly. I swept the remaining $12,000 to a new, private, encrypted account and permanently closed the joint line of credit. Leo called, truly frantic this time, his card bouncing in the middle of a business purchase for his next event. "You can't just." "I can," I cut him off, my voice calm as a newly installed, unbreakable firewall. "You told me I wasn't family. You told the world I was just the tech support on a plastic crate. You don't get to use my money or my safety net if I'm not even allowed at your table." I hung up. The system was now definitively offline. The unnerving quiet before the real storm lasted 2 days. Then Clara's email landed, simple and stark, "I think we need to talk." She confirmed what I suspected, she had called the venue manager herself. The manager, having witnessed the entire theatrical event, confirmed my version of events down to the location of the plastic stool. Leo's frantic lies about me being introverted or having a work emergency vanished like smoke under a strong wind. Her final line was the affirmation I had never received from my own bloodline, the moment of true validation. I ended the engagement last night. I realized your reaction, Alex, was the only one that had any dignity. You were honest about your value, and they weren't. I believe you. I was finally, profoundly, and irrevocably believed. The power dynamic had not just reversed, it had catastrophically collapsed for them. Leo was scrambling, his reputation damaged, his studio launch indefinitely stalled, and the looming reality of a $4,250 credit default hanging over him. My parents were forced to liquidate a portion of their long-term savings to bail him out of the restaurant debt, a major financial hit they deeply resented, driving a new wedge between them and Leo. The cost of their neglect was now quantifiable. 3 weeks later, my mom showed up at my condo unannounced, carrying a container of her signature lasagna. There were no excuses, no deflection, no mention of Leo. I let her in. The tension in the air was thick, electric, but fundamentally honest. She confessed, tears welling but her voice steady, I didn't see it because I didn't want to see it. We always assumed you'd take care of yourself, Alex. We poured all our energy into Leo because he was the one who needed us. We treated you like a safety net, Alex. Something we assumed would always be there, even if we ignored it. People only look at safety nets when they're falling, Mom, I replied, the truth simple, sharp, and unavoidable. Never when they're climbing. She nodded, owning the pain. Your father and I were profoundly wrong. We let Leo treat you like less than he was. I see it now. And I am so sorry. Not for the money, but for the neglect. I accepted the apology. It felt genuinely extracted by devastating consequence, but it was real. Things didn't magically fix overnight. I immediately enforced new boundaries. No financial help, ever. My money is my security, not their resource. All tech support requests required a scheduled appointment and were billed as pro bono service, a deliberate reminder of their transactional nature. I instituted a Leo-free zone in our conversations. But the relationship began to heal. My parents started sending respectful, individual messages about their day, about Dad's golf game, not about Leo's latest financial crisis. I took the long-postponed solo trip to Japan, a pilgrimage of self-discovery that lasted a full month. I started seeing a therapist, not because I was broken, but because the highest level of healing comes when you finally look at your own reflection and say, you deserved better, and you finally had the courage to give it to yourself. I didn't pay the bill that night. But in walking away from that $4,250, and the years of emotional servitude it represented, I finally cashed in my years of silent, unrecognized emotional debt. For the first time in my life, I'm not sitting on a plastic stool next to a cable crate, waiting to be acknowledged. I'm at my own table. And that table is